So, October 2025. So, annual update. Here we go. So, Abby has now completed another 12 months of OIT, and this is maintenance phase. So, she is having maintenance for peanuts, hazelnuts, and pistachios. Almonds, we put a bit of a sprinkling in here and there, but she had almost no allergy to them in the end anyway. Walnuts we had to abandon because it was just looking to jeopardise the other maintenance doses. So we made our peace with no thank you to walnuts. So interestingly, Abby, who is being a wonderful scientist about this, has been finding that if she has her dose is just the 3 times a week, which is what's recommended, that in actual fact, she gets more of a trigger happening with each dose. So she has actually decided to take her maintenance doses once a day, every single day. So that is more than is required as such. However, she was finding that if she was just sticking to 3 times a week, that her throat didn't feel right. She might have a funny tummy. And so it would just take much longer for that to disappear. And I know that we can obviously always fall onto antihistamines, but Abby's not keen to do that. And I back her up on that really a bit. Obviously, if things are uncomfortable, then antihistamines are always an option. However, the whole point is that her body is tolerating it without the need for a histamine response. And so she just didn't want to get to the point of needing antihistamines several times a week. So she now takes her doses every single day. And she started off taking them separately. So that was quite time consuming because she does still find that after dose she does choose to be very quiet for a good hour and a half really. And she does take that pretty seriously. And, Abby is the sort of person to take that kind of thing seriously. But also I think that there's probably some real sense in that sort of respect for the body's reaction and what it's going through each time she has a dose. So she started off having separate doses, time consuming, because then she'd give herself a bit of time after each one for her body to fully settle. She would say to me when I quizzed her about this, but if I do start running up and down the stairs or just going up and down the stairs even, it'll take 3 hours for my throat to feel fine as opposed to hour and a half. Hard to argue with that. She then has managed to join her maintenance doses. So now she has peanuts and hazelnuts all together in the morning, quiet time, and then carries on. So she's finding that works for her. Pistachios obviously in there as well. I think the pistachios she has found, and it's this kind of trial and error, and every single person and set of circumstances is always going to be different. But she finds that I think she does the pistachio a few times a week, whereas the peanuts and hazelnuts she finds she has to do every day. And, everybody's going to be different. So, I'm often nudging her and saying, you know what, Abs, rather than saying you've got a tummy ache, have an antihistamine, it's fine. But she and I have both come to independent conclusions that unless really necessary, she doesn't want to be living on antihistamines. So obviously her reactions will vary according to how well she feels, how much she slept, hormones, stress, diet. She's always careful in terms of what she is eating at the same time as having a dose. And I'm studying nutrition at the moment, and I think she's a bit of her mother's daughter in that, she's quite keen to make sure she has protein as well when she has her dose. I'd be really interested to hear if other people are finding that other foodstuffs work better. For example, like fermented foods. I mean, she's a massive Greek yogurt fan, cottage cheese, etc. So we're certainly into our live cultures and so on. So that's the October 2025 update. I'm feeling quite positive about it. I'd say Abby feels quite positive about it. It feels quite calm. Um, I would still say that there is a bit of compromise happening. So, it's not ideal that Abby, as a almost 18-year-old, is choosing to sit down and do nothing for an hour and a half every single day. I know most people will be saying, hang on, isn't that what all those teenagers get up to? But when it's enforced and has to be scheduled, and there ends up being, no, I can't do that because of I've got to have my dose, or no, I can't do that because I've just dosed. And it's not always after me requesting that she hoover, although that does happen quite a bit. So I'd say that it's pretty calm and integrated into our lives. There is a compromise. She was born with a severe allergy, so we live with a severe allergy. But the goal is that she is protected should she accidentally ingest 4 peanuts, 5 peanuts. So I would be happy to say, so far so good. I would be really interested to hear other people's experiences. I'd love you to get in touch and let me know. But I just say huge pat on the back for anybody, everybody, even just attempting this, let alone completing it, but attempting it. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of sticking with it and getting through putting up with the crappier aspects of it. So I say huge pats on the backs for those of us who are on this journey, still on this journey, and all we're doing is wanting to do the very best for our little ones. Of course we are. So go us, keep at it.